Well, this is no ordinary voice of spiritual ventriloquism. You are listening to the dummy himself. Brother Rich here, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, Romeo and Julieta, Nicaraguan. Inspirado. Nice mild thing. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about, and this is kind of in honor of Gene Scott, Dr. Gene Scott. Anyway, may he rest well. Anyhow, I'm sure this will draw some rave reviews. Anyway, I'd like to talk today about signing blank contracts. You know, I had a situation happen years ago with a friend, with a brother who rented from a man I was employed by. And, they signed one of these, Office Max type rental agreements, And anyway, $25 years. Anyway, might do this once a week. So anyway, and also having a nice little monkey shoulder scotch, rabbi approved. Anyway, getting back to the subject matter at hand. They signed one of these like Office Max agreements, and and everything was going good, and they were running good, and everything like that. But it was vaguely worded, just really general. The guy wants to make a few bucks on a property he's not using, so he gets a renter in there, right? And at least the renter entered into the contract in good faith. I would hope that everybody else did. But as time went on, this blank, what amounted to a blank contract, or a very vaguely, highly interpretive contract, was, there began expectations. When there's not language written down that specifies the details of an agreement, then, naturally, either through ignorance or people just wanting more out of it, the agreement, than what is said, are naturally, over time, expectations are going to rise and evolve over the process of time. So, anyway, and it was amazing because, rather than this person coming to me, or rather than this person going directly to the person he made the agreement with, I wasn't involved in that. Nobody asked me what my opinion was, and things like that. But eventually started evolving me. I started, being the mail deliverer of not only the manager of this guy's business in his absence, which was almost continually, to the point where he now wanted me to make me his property manager, so to speak, and make sure I delivered the water bill and make sure that I delivered the rent notice and stuff like that to my brother, Well, obviously, things started going south because he was expecting more than what the lessee wanted. The lessor wanted more out of the agreement than what was stated. And so they started squibbling, squabbling over elevated expectations that weren't included in the agreement, because things weren't specifically nailed down. And this is why union contracts exist, by the way. This is why union contracts exist. because you have counterparty risk involved always in every type of fiduciary or financial transaction. You got counterparty risk, a thing I call counterparty risk. And so, that's why you have to hash it out in the office every now and then. But at least with unions, and at least with, most of the things out there in the world, the contracts are pretty detailed, and they have to be fulfilled in detail. Otherwise, the contract is in a state of being breached, and that's where all the problems arise. Well, this involved me to the point, and it wasn't on the part of my brother, it was on the part of the guy who rented him a place. It got to the point where, it had escalated to the point where they were trying to get into their personal business as well, and they were bringing out threats and things like that against my brother. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is getting bad. So I'm fixing to freaking nail this one down. So I actually ended up quitting this job after about 9 years over this lack of detail in a rental agreement. And so anyway, a lot of times because of familiarity, because of some type of camaraderie, whether it be professional or whether it be ecclesiastical or any type of situation, you place your seat at college or whatever, it just always seems to have issues down the road somewhere where mutual understanding at the outset and, rudimentary expectations then begin to evolve over time. And the things that are clear now, and basic and very simple in their details, now become, over the process of time, become highly interpretive. And without any really substantial amount of ink on the paper, people are going to want to change the agreement when they're not happy anymore, and a lot of that happens to be because of the vagueness and the highly interpretive, like, well, you should know what I mean at the outset, may turn into, just do this job, perform this function, have your character and things like that line up to what this document is stating out. Then becomes later in time, it comes down to fickleness, preferences, proclivities, what one's idea might be of one thing in a person's job performance or whatever, rather than what he's actually doing, and then, it all kind of devolves from there. So, if you're a free man and you want to enter into some type of business arrangement with someone, then I highly, highly urge you to make sure that you don't enter into those types of things hastily because, you've made new friends or whatever. And you believe the best in people, and hopefully they believe the best in you. But after, the process of time, you find out that people are still people, and human nature is still human nature, and that we're not where we think we are at. So, no blank contracts. Do not enter into a blank contract. We wouldn't write a blank check and let the other person fill in the amount over time as to what he feels like maybe a week or 2 weeks or 10 months from now, what he thinks the contract is worth. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't, set those types of things before us, because of counterparty risk. Always there. It's there with the banker. It's there with your employer. It's there with the guy that's wanting to lease you a place to live. Just something to live by, I guess. A few words of wisdom. And, be very careful that you don't enter into covenants or agreements that are later, because of expectations, because of one, thing or another, the contract doesn't seem to be being fulfilled to both parties' pleasures. And then you have to make an adjustment in your work life. So, but anyway, I hope I said something that will spark some type of thought and ponderment, some type of free thinking, and help you evaluate where you are, who you are in the Messiah, and also to, maintain your integrity. All right? Hallelujah. Well, anyway, that's all I got for today. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and have a great Shabbat. Shalom. Bye.